The church smelled like polished wood and white roses, but underneath it all lingered something heavier. Loss, thick and suffocating. I stood near the front, my fingers curled tightly around the edge of the pew, staring at the closed casket. People kept passing by me, whispering condolences, squeezing my shoulder, saying things I couldn't really hear. My son, Daniel, was gone. 34 years old. Healthy. Strong. The kind of man people described as reliable, steady, good. And now he was nothing but a memory sealed inside a dark wooden box. They said it was his heart. Someone murmured behind me earlier. Just stopped. Just stopped. As if a life could simply pause and never start again. I hadn't cried yet. Not really. Everything inside me felt frozen, like my body refused to accept what my mind already knew. I reached out and touched the casket, my fingertips brushing the smooth surface. Mom. The voice came softly from behind me. I turned. It was Mark, the family lawyer. Daniel had trusted him for years. He gave me a sympathetic look, the kind people practice in mirrors when they don't know what else to offer. When you feel ready, he said quietly, we should talk. There are some important matters. Important matters. My son was dead, and the world still expected paperwork. I nodded, because what else was there to do? As I followed him down the side hallway, I noticed someone standing near the coat rack. Emily, my daughter-in-law. Her posture was perfect, her makeup untouched. Not a single strand of her blonde hair out of place. She looked like grief had politely asked permission before approaching her, and been denied. She wasn't alone. Her friend, no, her cousin, I think, stood close beside her. I would have walked past them, but then I heard my name. I swear, if she thinks I'm taking care of her now. I froze. Emily's voice was low, but sharp. Her cousin leaned closer. You mean his mom? Obviously. Emily let out a short, bitter laugh. I've dealt with her long enough. Something inside my chest tightened. I mean, seriously, she continued, crossing her arms. Daniel's gone. I have 2 kids, a house, and everything falling apart. I'm not about to babysit some controlling old woman on top of that. The words hit harder than anything said at the funeral. Controlling. Old woman. Babysit. Her cousin whispered something I couldn't catch. Emily rolled her eyes. She's probably expecting to move in or something. Not happening. I've sacrificed enough already. I couldn't breathe. 7 years. 7 years I had tried to be careful, respectful. I never interfered unless they asked. I helped with the children. I brought meals. I stayed out of their arguments. Or at least, I thought I had. I just hope Daniel didn't do anything stupid with a will, Emily added, her voice dropping even lower. I'm his wife. Everything should come to me. That's how it works. I stepped back before they could see me. My heart was pounding now, not from grief, but from something colder. Something sharper. Olivia? Mark's voice called gently from the office door. I forced myself to move. Inside, the room felt smaller than it should have. Too quiet. Too controlled. Mark gestured for me to sit. I won't take much of your time today, he said. But I need to prepare you for tomorrow. Tomorrow? The will reading. Of course. I stared at my hands. He made changes, Mark added carefully. That made me look up. Changes? He hesitated just for a second. About 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks. That was right before everything happened. What kind of changes? I asked. Mark folded his hands. Daniel transferred the majority of his assets to you. The words didn't make sense at first. I'm sorry, what? The house, his investments, savings, most of it is now legally yours. I blinked. That's not possible. Emily, his wife, the children. The children are protected, he said quickly. There are trust funds in place. Significant ones. They'll have access when they come of age. And Emily? Mark exhaled. She is not the primary beneficiary. Silence filled the room. My mind struggled to catch up. Daniel had always been thoughtful, careful. He didn't make impulsive decisions. So why would he do this? Did he say why? I asked. Mark shook his head slowly. He didn't elaborate. Only that it was urgent.
Urgent.
A chill ran through me. Before I could ask anything else, the door opened. Emily stepped in. Her expression changed instantly when she saw me, softening, eyes glistening as if on cue. "Olivia," she said, walking toward me with open arms. I let her hug me. Her perfume was too strong. "I don't know how we're going to get through this," she whispered. I didn't respond, because now I knew something she didn't. And suddenly, neither of us were grieving the same man. The will reading the next day was exactly as I feared. Emily sat across from me, her posture rigid, her eyes sharp. As Mark went through the details, I could see the moment realization hit her. Confusion, then disbelief, then anger. "This is ridiculous," she snapped. "There has to be a mistake." "There is no mistake," Mark said calmly. "He wouldn't do this. Not to me." "He did." Her gaze snapped to me, and in that moment, whatever mask she had left slipped. "You knew about this," she said. I shook my head. I didn't. But I understood something now. Daniel hadn't done this randomly.
He had known something.
Something serious enough to change everything just weeks before he died.
Emily stood abruptly, grabbing her bag.
"This isn't over," she said coldly. Then she walked out. And just like that, the real story began. That evening, I found myself standing in Daniel's study. Emily had given me the key earlier, claiming she wasn't ready to go through his things. But something about the room felt off. Too quiet. Too untouched. As if time had stopped here before it stopped everywhere else. I moved toward his desk. Everything was neat, organized, exactly like him. Except for one thing. A drawer. Slightly open. Daniel never left things unfinished. My fingers trembled as I pulled it open. Inside was a folder. Thick. Heavy. And labeled in his handwriting. Personal, important. My heart started racing. I hesitated. Then I opened it. And everything I thought I knew about my son's life began to unravel. I didn't realize I was holding my breath until my chest started to ache. The folder felt heavier than paper should. My hands trembled as I pulled out the first stack of documents, expecting something simple. Maybe insurance papers, maybe account details I didn't know about. Something normal. Something explainable. What I found instead made my stomach drop. Bank statements. Dozens of them. Not just Daniel's main accounts, but credit cards, secondary accounts, even lines of credit I had never heard him mention. I flipped through them quickly at first, my eyes scanning numbers without understanding, until the pattern started to emerge. Large withdrawals. Frequent. Unusual. Then I slowed down. Casino transactions. Online betting sites. Cash advances taken at odd hours. Sometimes in the middle of the night.
No, he whispered.
Daniel didn't gamble. He never had. He used to joke about how he hated losing even $5 on a friendly bet. So, why were these here? I dug deeper into the folder, my movements becoming more frantic. Loan agreements followed, pages and pages of them. Some from banks, others from private lenders. A few had interest rates so high they made my hands go cold. And every single one was in Daniel's name. My pulse roared in my ears. This doesn't make sense. Then I saw it. A single sheet of paper clipped to the front of one of the stacks. My name, written in Daniel's handwriting. Everything inside me stopped. I pulled it free carefully, like it might fall apart if I moved too quickly. "Mom," it began. Just that word was enough to break something inside me. My vision blurred instantly, but I forced myself to keep reading. If you're seeing this, then I didn't get the chance to explain things the way I wanted to. My throat tightened.
I'm sorry.
I sank slowly into his chair, the letter shaking in my hands. I should have told you sooner, but I kept thinking I could fix it, that I could handle it without dragging you into it. Fix what? My eyes moved faster now. Emily has a problem. A serious one. It started small, or at least that's what she told me. Occasional gambling, harmless fun. But it didn't stay that way. The room felt like it was closing in. I didn't realize how bad it had gotten until about 6 months ago. By then, she had already taken money from our savings. I thought we could recover. I thought I could help her stop. A tear slipped down my cheek. I was wrong. The words blurred as more tears followed, but I kept going. She opened accounts I didn't know about. Took loans using my name. Some of them, I don't even fully understand. The people she owes money to aren't the kind you negotiate with. My heart skipped. What people? I confronted her. She promised to stop. She cried, begged, said she needed help. And I believed her. I wanted to believe her. Of course he did. Daniel had always believed in people, especially the ones he loved. But it didn't stop. It got worse. I pressed my hand against my mouth. I'm writing this because I'm scared. Not just for me, for the kids. And for you. A cold wave washed over me. If anything happens to me, I need you to know the truth. I changed my will because I can't trust her with what's left. Not anymore. My grip tightened on the paper. You'll protect the kids. I know you will. You always have. My chest ached so badly, I thought I might collapse. I still love her, Mom. That's the hardest part. But love doesn't fix this. And I don't know how much time we have before everything falls apart. The letter ended there.
No signature. No goodbye.
Just silence. I sat there for a long time, staring at the page as if more words might appear if I waited long enough. But they didn't. Instead, something else caught my attention. A small object tucked between the papers. A USB drive. I picked it up slowly. My reflection stared back at me from the black surface. Pale, shaken. Someone I barely recognized. Daniel, I whispered. Then I stood, my movements unsteady but determined, and walked to his computer. The screen flickered to life with a soft hum. For a moment, I hesitated. Once I opened this, there would be no going back. But I already knew that. I inserted the USB. One file appeared. A video, dated 3 weeks ago. The same time, he changed the will. My hand hovered over the mouse. Then I clicked. The screen shifted, and suddenly there he was. Daniel.
Alive.
Moving.
Real.
For a second, I forgot to breathe. Hey, Mom, he said. His voice. It hit me like a physical blow. He looked tired. Not sick, but worn down. Like something had been eating away at him for a long time. If you're watching this, then things probably didn't go the way I hoped. A weak smile crossed his face. I guess they rarely do. I leaned closer to the screen, my heart breaking all over again. I didn't want to leave you with this mess. I really didn't. He rubbed his forehead. I found out the truth about Emily months ago. Not just the gambling, the lies, the accounts, the debts. He paused. And the people involved. My stomach twisted. They're not just lenders, Mom. Some of them, they're dangerous. The kind of people who don't wait patiently for their money. A chill spread through me. I tried to fix it quietly. Paid off what I could. Moved money around. Set up safeguards. But she kept going behind my back.
His voice tightened.
I confronted her again last week. My heart started racing. She lost it. Completely. Said I didn't understand pressure. That I was overreacting. That everything would be fine if I just trusted her. He let out a bitter laugh. I wanted to. God, I wanted to. Silence hung for a moment. Then his expression changed. Serious. Focused. I'm changing the will today. My breath caught. I can't risk everything ending up in her hands. Not like this. Not with what she's involved in. He looked directly into the camera. If something happens to me, you need to be careful. Don't trust her. Don't believe what she says. And don't let her isolate you. A shiver ran through me. She's very good at that. The room felt colder. I've left evidence. Not everything is here. Some of it is stored somewhere safer.
Safer?
Follow the notes. You'll understand. He exhaled slowly. I'm sorry you're being pulled into this. You don't deserve it. His eyes softened. Take care of the kids. They're the only thing that matters now. The video flickered, then ended. The screen went dark, and I was alone again. But everything had changed. This wasn't just about money. This wasn't just about betrayal. Daniel had been afraid. And now, I understood why. A noise from downstairs snapped me back to reality. The front door. My entire body went rigid. I hadn't heard a car pull up. Hadn't heard footsteps outside. But someone was here. Emily. Of course. Panic surged through me, sharp and immediate. I yanked the USB from the computer and shoved it into my pocket, gathering the documents as quickly as I could. My hands moved fast now, no longer trembling, driven by instinct. Protect this. Protect him. Protect the truth. Olivia, her voice called from downstairs.
Light. Sweet.
Completely false. Are you still here? I closed the drawer, forcing it back into place exactly as it had been. Yes, I called, steadying my voice. I'm in the study.
Footsteps approached. Slow.
Measured. I grabbed my bag and slipped the folder inside just as she appeared in the doorway. She smiled.
Perfect.
Controlled. I thought you might still be going through things, she said. I brought dinner. Her eyes flicked briefly to my bag, then back to me. Something in her expression lingered for just a fraction too long. Suspicion. Calculation. I forced a small smile. That's thoughtful. She stepped into the room. We need to support each other now, she said softly. For the children. I nodded. But inside, everything had shifted. Because now I knew what she really was. And more importantly, she didn't know that I knew.
Yet.
The next few weeks didn't feel real. It was as if I had stepped into someone else's life, someone quieter, smaller, easier to erase. My phone stopped ringing. Messages went unanswered. Invitations disappeared. Even the grocery store felt different, like the air shifted when I walked in. Conversations hushed. Eyes lingered too long. Smiles turned polite, distant. At first, I thought it was grief. People didn't know what to say, so they said nothing. That's what I told myself. But then I started hearing things. Did you hear what Olivia did? She took everything, after everything Emily went through. The words weren't meant for me, but they reached me anyway. They always do. Gossip has a way of traveling faster than truth. I stood frozen one afternoon near the produce section, while two women whispered just a few feet away. I heard she's not well, one of them said quietly. Something about memory issues. The other nodded. Emily mentioned it. Said she's been acting strange since Daniel passed. My chest tightened. Memory issues? Strange? I left without buying anything. I don't even remember walking to the car. I just remember sitting behind the wheel, staring at my reflection in the mirror, searching for something, anything, that might explain how my life had turned into this. Emily. Of course it was her. She wasn't just angry about the will. She was rewriting the story. and I was becoming the villain. The worst part wasn't the whispers. It was the children, Emma and Noah. Before Daniel died, they were at my house constantly, weekends, afternoons, holidays. Emma loved baking with me. Noah would sit for hours with his books, asking questions about everything. Now,
Silence.
calls went unanswered, messages ignored. When I finally managed to speak to them, their voices felt different, careful, distant, like they were talking to someone they weren't sure they could trust. That hurt more than anything Emily had done. One afternoon, she finally brought them over. 2 hours, she said as she stood in my doorway, checking her watch. We have plans later. 2 hours, like I was a scheduled obligation. Of course, I said, stepping aside. Emma ran in and hugged me tightly, and for a moment, everything felt normal again. But Noah stayed near the door, watching me, studying me. That look, it didn't belong on a child's face. While the kids played in the backyard, I turned to Emily. We need to talk. Her expression didn't change. About what? About what you've been saying. About me. She tilted her head slightly, as if genuinely confused. I don't know what you mean. The performance was flawless. You've been telling people I'm unstable, I said quietly. That I'm confused. That I took everything from you. Her lips curved into a faint smile. Olivia, I haven't told anyone anything that isn't true. My stomach dropped. That's not true, and you know it. Her eyes hardened. Do I? She said softly. I stepped closer, lowering my voice. Daniel knew about the gambling, about the loans. That's why he changed the will. For just a second, just a fraction of a second, something cracked.
Fear.
Then it vanished, replaced instantly by something colder. Amusement. Wow, she said, letting out a soft laugh. That's quite a story. It's not a story. She leaned in slightly. Careful, she whispered. People might hear you. I felt a chill run down my spine. You really think anyone is going to believe that? She continued. A grieving mother making accusations against her daughter-in-law? Her voice dropped even lower, especially when that mother is clearly not well. My hands clenched. I am perfectly fine. She smiled again. That's what everyone says. The ground felt like it was shifting beneath me. You're lying, I said. And you're spiraling, she replied calmly. Then she straightened, her expression softening again, as if nothing had happened. The kids are ready, she said, glancing toward the yard. And just like that, the conversation was over. But the message wasn't. She wasn't just attacking me. She was dismantling me, piece by piece. That night, I sat alone in my kitchen, staring at a cup of tea that had long gone cold. For the first time since Daniel died, I cried. Not quiet tears, not controlled, but deep, shaking sobs that left me breathless. Because for a moment, just a moment, I believed her. What if I was wrong? What if grief was distorting everything? What if Daniel hadn't meant what I thought he meant? What if I was losing control? The thought terrified me. So the next morning, I did something I hadn't planned. I went to see Dr. Harris. He had been our family doctor for years. He knew Daniel. He knew me. If anyone could ground me in reality, it was him. At least, that's what I thought. You've been under a lot of stress, he said as he flipped through my file. Yes, I admitted. But that's not why I'm here. He nodded, but didn't look up. Emily came by last week, he said casually. My stomach dropped. She did. She's concerned about you. Of course she is. What exactly did she say? He hesitated. That you've been forgetful, confused, that you've been making accusations that don't quite align with reality. My pulse started racing. That's not true. He finally looked at me. I'm not saying it is. But given everything you've been through, it's not uncommon for people to experience. I'm not confused, I interrupted. The firmness in my voice surprised even me. He studied me for a moment, then sighed. I'm going to prescribe something mild, he said, just to help with anxiety. And I'd like you to see a specialist, a neurologist. Rule out anything more serious. There it was. Exactly what she wanted. A diagnosis. A label.
Proof.
I took the prescription. But I already knew I wasn't going to fill it. Because this wasn't happening inside my head. This was real. And she was behind it. When I stepped outside, the air felt different. Colder.
Sharper.
Like the world had finally revealed its true shape. My phone buzzed in my hand. Unknown number. For a second, I considered ignoring it. Then I opened the message. We need to talk about Emily.
Tomorrow. 10 Uhr morgens.
Don't tell anyone. No name.
No explanation.
Just an address. I stared at the screen, my heart pounding. Then another message appeared. It's Olivia's sister. Emily's sister. I didn't even know what to think. Was this a trap? Another move in whatever game Emily was playing?
Or
was this the first crack in her perfect story? For the first time in weeks, something unfamiliar stirred inside me. Not fear. Not grief. Something else.
hope.
I looked at the address again, then locked my phone. Whatever this was, I was going to find out. I didn't sleep that night. Every possible outcome played through my mind in endless loops. It could be a trap. It could be another layer of Emily's manipulation. Or it could be exactly what I needed, proof that I wasn't imagining any of this. By the time morning came, I had already made my decision. I was going. The cafe was small and tucked away on the edge of town, the kind of place people only visited if they already knew it existed. That alone made it feel safer. I arrived early and chose a table in the corner, positioning myself so I could see the entrance clearly. My hands wrapped tightly around a cup of coffee I barely touched. Every time the door opened, my heart jumped. At exactly 10, she walked in. Her name was Rachel, Emily's younger sister. I had met her only a handful of times over the years, mostly at family gatherings where she stayed quiet and distant, never quite blending into Emily's polished world. Today, she looked even more different. No makeup, simple clothes, her hair pulled back in a way that suggested practicality over appearance. She spotted me immediately and walked straight over. "Did anyone follow you?" she asked before even sitting down. The question caught me off guard. "No," I said slowly. "I don't think so." She nodded and finally sat across from me, her eyes scanning the room quickly before settling on me. "Good," she said. "We don't have a lot of time." A chill ran through me. "What is this about?" I asked. She exhaled, her fingers tightening around the edge of the table. "It's about Emily," she said. "And everything you think is happening is real." For a moment, I just stared at her. "You believe me?" I asked. "I do," she said without hesitation. Relief hit me so suddenly it almost hurt. "But how?" I pressed. "Why now?" Rachel looked down briefly, then back at me. "Because I've seen this before," she said quietly. "You're not the first." The words hung in the air. "What do you mean?" She leaned closer, lowering her voice. "Before Daniel, there was someone else. His name was Aaron. They were engaged." My heart skipped. "She did the same thing to him," Rachel continued. "At first, everything looked perfect. Then the spending started. Small at first. Then bigger. Loans.
Debts. Lies.
By the time he realized what was happening, it was almost too late." "What happened?" I asked.
His family stepped in, she said.
"They had money. Connections. They paid everything off and made sure she walked away before it destroyed him completely. I felt a wave of nausea. And she just moved on? Rachel nodded. That's what she does. She finds stability, builds trust, and then drains it. My hands clenched in my lap. She loved Daniel, I said, though even as I spoke, the words felt uncertain. Rachel's expression softened slightly. In her way, maybe, she said. But Emily doesn't love the way most people do. For her, love and control are the same thing. The room felt smaller. She's telling people I'm losing my mind, I said. I know, Rachel replied. That's her strategy. If she can make people doubt you, she doesn't have to defend herself. I swallowed hard. She's already started isolating you. That's step one. A cold realization settled over me. She's been doing this for years, Rachel continued. Not just with relationships, with our own family too. When our grandmother caught her stealing jewelry, Emily convinced everyone the old woman was confused, that she was imagining things. My breath caught. She got away with it, Rachel said flatly, because no one wanted to believe the truth. Silence stretched between us. What do? I asked finally. Rachel didn't hesitate. You document everything, she said. Every conversation, every rumor, every interaction with the kids. You don't confront her without proof. And you do not trust anything she gives you. A flicker of unease passed through me. You think she would go that far? I asked. Rachel held my gaze. I think you don't fully understand how desperate she is. That word again.
Desperate.
For what? I asked. Rachel hesitated. I don't have proof, she said carefully. But I know she owes money. A lot of it. And not just to banks. My stomach twisted. Then to who? She shook her head slightly. I don't know exactly. But I've heard names. People you don't want to be involved with. A heavy silence followed. This isn't just about inheritance, she added. She needs that money. Urgently. Everything Daniel had said in the video echoed in my mind. Dangerous people. Not patient. Not forgiving. Rachel reached into her bag and pulled out a small phone. A burner, she said, sliding it across the table. Use this to contact me. Don't use your regular phone for anything important. I stared at it. This is serious, I said. Yes, she replied. It is. I picked it up slowly. And one more thing, she added. You're not crazy. The words hit harder than anything else, because part of me had started to believe I was. After she left, I sat there for a long time, the phone resting in my hand, my thoughts racing faster than I could process them. This was bigger than I had realized. Much bigger. When I got home, I didn't waste time. I went straight back to Daniel's study. This time, I wasn't just looking. I was searching. Systematically.
Carefully.
Every drawer. Every shelf. Every hidden corner. And then I found it, taped to the back of the desk drawer. A small key. And a note. Storage Unit 42, East Side Lockers. My pulse quickened. Of course. Daniel wouldn't keep everything in one place. He had been preparing, planning, protecting. The next morning I drove there. The facility was quiet, almost empty. The kind of place no one paid attention to. I signed in, kept my head down, and followed the directions to the unit. Number 42. My hand tightened around the key.
For a moment I hesitated.
Then I unlocked it. The door rolled open with a metallic echo. Inside. Order. Boxes, neatly labeled. Files, stacked with precision. And against the back wall, a large board covered in notes.
Dates.
Transactions.
Names.
It wasn't just evidence. It was an investigation. Daniel had been tracking her. For years. I stepped inside slowly, my eyes moving across everything. This wasn't suspicion. This was proof. Detailed. Careful. Undeniable. And then I realized something else. Daniel hadn't just been afraid of losing money. He had been afraid of something much worse. I reached for one of the boxes labeled records. Inside were documents, more than I had seen before. Loans, transfers, accounts linked to unfamiliar names. And at the bottom, another USB. I stared at it. Whatever was on this might change everything. I slipped it into my bag, my mind already racing ahead. This was no longer about defending myself. This was about uncovering the truth and stopping her before whatever she was involved in caught up to all of us. By the time I left the storage unit, I was no longer the same woman who had walked in. Grief was still there, it would always be there, but it was no longer blinding me. Something else had taken its place.
Clarity.
Focus. And beneath it all, a quiet, steady resolve. Daniel hadn't just suspected something. He had known. And now so did I. That evening, I sat at my kitchen table with everything spread out in front of me. Documents, notes, photographs I had taken inside the unit, and the USB drive resting in the center, like the final piece of a puzzle I hadn't wanted to solve. My hands were steady now as I plugged it into my laptop. No hesitation this time. The screen lit up. Multiple files, spreadsheets, scanned documents,
Audio recordings.
and one folder labeled simply, Final. My chest tightened as I opened it. Inside were recordings, conversations. Some were phone calls. Others sounded like they had been recorded in person. I clicked on one at random. Emily's voice filled the room. Sharp, irritated. I told you I'll get the money. I just need more time. A man's voice responded.
Calm. Too calm.
You've already had time. I said I'm working on it. You said that last time. Silence. Then the man again. You don't want this to become complicated. A chill ran through me. I have access to funds, Emily said quickly. It's just delayed. There were changes. Legal issues. Then resolve them, the man replied. Because patience is running out. The recording ended. I sat back slowly. This wasn't speculation anymore. This was real. I opened another file. This one was labeled with a date, 4 days before Daniel died. My heart started racing. I pressed play. Are you insane? Daniel's voice, angry, louder than I had ever heard him. Do you even understand what you've done? I said I'll fix it. Emily snapped. You said that months ago. I didn't know it would get this bad. You took loans from people you don't even know. I didn't have a choice. There is always a choice. Silence. Then Daniel again, quieter now. I'm done covering for you. My breath caught. You can't be serious, Emily said. I am. I've already started separating things. Accounts, assets, everything. You're destroying this family. No, he said. You did that. Another silence. Longer this time. Then Emily's voice, different now.
Softer.
Dangerous. You think you can just walk away from this? I'm not walking away, Daniel replied. I'm protecting what's left. The recording cut off. I stared at the screen, my heart pounding so hard it felt like it might break through my chest. This was it. The truth. Not just about the money, but about the last days of my son's life. I closed the laptop slowly, my mind already moving ahead. There was only one way forward now. I needed control. 2 days later, I invited Emily to dinner. She didn't hesitate. That told me everything. She thought she still had the upper hand. When she arrived, she looked exactly as she always did. Perfect, composed, untouchable. The children followed behind her, Emma running straight into my arms while Noah lingered near the door, still unsure. Dinner smells amazing, Emily said with a soft smile. I returned it. Thank you. Everything was calm. Normal. We ate.
We talked.
The children laughed. For a moment, it almost felt like the life we had lost. But underneath it all, something waited. After dinner, I suggested the children watch a movie in the living room. Emily didn't argue. She knew. We sat across from each other at the table. Silence stretched between us. Then I slid the folder across to her. I know everything, I said. She didn't touch it. About what? She asked lightly. The gambling. The loans. The people you owe. Her fingers tightened slightly on the table, but her expression didn't change. You're confused, she said. We've talked about this. I shook my head. No, I said calmly. I was confused. Not anymore. I opened the folder and turned it toward her.
Go ahead, I said.
Look. She hesitated. Then slowly she did. I watched the exact moment it hit her. Recognition. Then fear. Real fear. Her eyes moved quickly across the pages. The recordings. The notes. The timeline. You went through his things, she said quietly. Yes. That was private. So is debt to dangerous people, I replied. Her head snapped up. For the first time, the mask cracked. You don't understand what you're talking about, she said, but the confidence was gone. I understand enough, I said. Enough to know why he changed the will. Enough to know why you're trying to make me look unstable. Silence.
Heavy.
You think anyone will believe you? She asked finally. I smiled slightly. They don't have to believe me, I said. They just have to see this. I tapped the folder. And hear it. Her breathing changed.
Faster.
What do you want? She asked. There it was. Not denial. Not anger. Negotiation. I want access to my grandchildren, I said. Regular, unrestricted. She didn't respond. I want the rumors to stop, I continued. Completely. Her jaw tightened. And I want you to get help, I added. Real help. She let out a shaky breath. And if I don't agree? I leaned back slightly. Then I go to the police, I said simply. And I let them figure out the rest. Silence filled the room again.
Long. Tense.
Then, I didn't kill him, she said suddenly. The words hung in the air. I studied her carefully. I didn't say you did, I replied. But you're thinking it, she whispered. I didn't answer, because the truth was,
I didn't know.
And maybe I never would. Tears filled her eyes, but I couldn't tell if they were real. I loved him, she said, in my own way. I held her gaze. That wasn't enough, I said quietly. She closed her eyes, then nodded.
Fine, she said.
Just one word, but it changed everything. The deal was made, not out of trust, not out of forgiveness, but out of necessity. And sometimes that's enough. 3 years have passed since that night. Life didn't magically become perfect, but it became stable. The children come every weekend now. Emma is older, more thoughtful, her laughter softer but deeper. Noah asks questions again, endless ones, just like he used to. The distance between us is gone. The damage, mostly repaired. Emily kept her word. Mostly. She went through treatment. Still does. Some days are better than others. I don't trust her. Not completely. I never will. But we coexist.
Carefully.
Because we both understand what's at stake. The house is still in my name. The finances are protected. And the children, they are safe. That's what matters. Sometimes I still think about Daniel. About those last days. About that argument. About what really happened. There are questions I may never answer.
But I've learned something.
Closure doesn't always come from truth. Sometimes it comes from choosing what to do next. This garden I sit in now, it didn't exist before. We built it together. Me, Emma, and Noah. Every year, on Daniel's birthday, we plant something new. A tree, a flower, something that grows, something that stays. Grandma, look. Emma calls, holding up a small clay pot she made. It's beautiful, I tell her.
And I mean it.
Because despite everything, despite loss, despite betrayal, despite fear, something survived, something good. And as I watch them laugh under the fading sunlight, I realize this is what Daniel wanted. Not revenge, not destruction, protection, and maybe, just maybe,
Peace.